Command Center access granted. Welcome to the Command Center, Captain. Engaging forward control panel.
Well, hello, and welcome aboard to everyone who has joined us here early. And if you're watching on VOD, thank you very much for taking the time out to check out our program where we are diving behind the scenes of game development. Taking a little cruise here right now, just in orbit, which is appropriate because we are reaching out around the world, halfway around the globe here to an indie developer all the way joining us from South Africa. Please extend a warm welcome to our special guest, Akil. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me, Val.
All right. Oh, had a little echo there. Hopefully that's fixed. Anyway, glad to have you here with us. We're going to spend a little bit of time getting to know Akil and the project that he has been working on, Syphon.
An officer has arrived in
Take a
Command
moment
Center.
and we will welcome in some folks. Thank you, Royal Payne, for joining us. Welcome aboard. Ludum, thanks for being here. Whether you're joining us on Twitch.
An officer has arrived in Command Center.
Boom. Thank you for joining us, Abomination. Or if you're joining us on the YouTube side, thanks for being here. And hope you'll drop
An
in
officer
some
has arrived
comments
in Command Center.
and questions as we progress along. We'll throw those questions over to Akil as we're able to. Otherwise, yeah, welcome. Glad to have everybody here. Spread the word. Let somebody else know to jump in and join us as well, even if it's late, because I know for Akil, I mean, come on, it can't be any later than it is for this poor guy. It is, 3:30 in the morning your time? Is that right?
That's it. 3:30. Early start. Game dev never sleeps.
Right, it is. All right. Well, Akil is self-taught game designer, videographer, video editor, photographer, and graphic designer. Another one of these guys that just does it all. Would you like to take a moment and just kind of introduce yourself?
Sure thing. Thanks, Phil. Thanks again for having me. So yeah, I mean that pretty much said it. But just in general, uh, a lover of all things art and self-taught, just mainly because my education background is it's more in the computer science side, so information technology. But I still couldn't shake off the art bug. So uh, in daytime I would do my degree, and then nighttime I would practice my art, practice my design, take on a few clients here and there for video work, graphic design work. Also, kind of mentored by my uncle who does graphic design and photography stuff professionally, and just kind of put together a decent enough portfolio to get picked up as a multimedia designer as a full-time job. So that's where I
Very
am.
nice.
But game design is my love. So that's something I'm definitely pushing up on the side as well. And that's
Sure.
where we are now.
Sure. Well, awesome. All right, I'm gonna move my camera around here as we talk, so it's kind of like a work in progress. Um,
Sure,
so
no
you
problem.
came from
No
the
judgment.
art background, which is very cool. So have you kind of since you are interested in the game design elements, have you also dived into kind of learning a game engine, coding, those kind of things as well?
Yeah, so it actually started in high school. I must have been around 13 or so, and I
Wow.
started using my mother's laptop. She had a work laptop, and first piece of art I did was in like MS Paint, uh, and from there I expressed interest in computers. So they got me a laptop when I was a bit older. I think maybe 12 or 13 years old, and then I got Blender for the first time, the 3D
Ah,
modeling program.
yeah, oh yeah.
And you don't see it now, but I actually wear glasses. I don't know where my glasses are, but I wear glasses because after school I would literally spend from the time the sun is up till nighttime, dinner time, on my computer just messing around with things. And after following a few tutorials, I realized there's a Python based game engine inside Blender. And so officially, I messed around with my first
Oh,
game in Blender.
okay,
Yeah, so
okay.
I don't think it's widely used because I mean it's who's gonna use Blender as a
Right,
native game engine,
right.
right? And so from there, then I messed around with Unity. Mind you, I was still around 14, and I was even playing around
Wow,
with like the motion capture stuff with Blender. I was in deep,
nice.
and I managed to model my own character in Blender, rig it, find a public database of motion capture animations. Carnegie Mellon University did that. So I got that, I attached it to my character, and I pulled all of that through to Unity, and then managed to make like a basic, game where you can walk around in a map that I designed, and I put it onto my phone, which was like an iPhone 4. So I exported it to my phone at the time, and I could play it there. And so I think from there I was like, this game design stuff it's quite a lot of fun.
It
So
does suck you
that's where it
in
started.
for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
it's great.
really
Where else
does.
can
Yeah,
you create, take things from your imagination and turn them into entire worlds? Maybe
exactly.
motion pictures, but game design is so great because you actually get to, create a user experience there. So yeah,
Exactly.
awesome.
That's
Well, you definitely got an early jump and an early start. That's pretty exciting. And so I'm sure everybody's excited to see kind of what he's working on and what he's done. So as we get set up to showcase that a little bit and talk about Syphon, let's take care of a couple basics here. Like first off, I think we need to set our course into space here and head away from now that we've got some folks on board. Head out of orbit. So let's do that really quick. Boom. Everybody, hold on. It doesn't get too bumpy or anything. It's just,
Yeah. Don't forget to turn on the inertia dampeners there, Val.
Thank you for that reminder. All right, and then let's move to a close-up view. We're going to move to our forward view screen. I think that's going to make it a little bit easier to kind of showcase and show off the project here up on the forward view screen. All right, so let me pop that up here. That is not good. That's funny. Okay. Well, it wouldn't be a stream without a technical glitch in there somewhere. So there it is. Let's hope that's it. Doggone it. Let's try that. There we go. Hey, oh.
Nice.
All
There we
right.
go.
All right. So, why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about what this project is, what it means to you, and what you're doing on it? Just kind of give us a little bit of an intro.
Sure. So yeah, this is an interesting one because I wanted to create, let's say, a portfolio piece that can kind of prove to myself really that this is I'm serious about this, and this is really, something, a direction I want to take my life in, really. And I mean, 3D stuff, it'll take a bit more time, and I thought the easiest way to jump into game development was a 2D game, right? Mind you, I grew up with 3D games, PS2 and stuff. I wasn't too well versed on the 2D platform, right? But I thought it was the simplest way to do it. But one of the key things I wanted to include here was it was a story, and also an interesting aesthetic that also made development easy for me, because I'm familiar with system design. That was my degree. And one thing you need to be careful of is setting too ambitious of a goal in the beginning, especially when you're just one person. And so I tried to make it something simple. I tried to make it something that reflects my style. And so you'll see a lot of flat graphics. You'll see there's some cutscene, stuff I was messing with, but it's literally just 2D comic book art style animated in After Effects. I think you saw on the clip over there. And so the name of the game was simple, iterable, and achievable. And I mean, what it means to me, it's ever since I played like Mass Effect, it literally changed my life in terms of storytelling. I never knew games could hit that hard, and that was maybe when I was 15. And then I thought, I knew like this is going to be the direction, but I have to really prove that I'm worth accepting from the game design side of things. Like it's something I have to earn, right? And so this game is that. It's me attempting, and it's been a roller coaster, man, because you have to balance, I mean, life and the degree and now work as well and client work as well. And I mean, it's kicked my butt more than a handful of times because I mean, sure my background is in programming. It's C++, C sharp, your HTML, CSS, that sort of stuff. But you ask anyone close to me, I despise programming. I really don't like programming. It's like you're asking a kid, it's like you're asking a primary school kid, do you love math? Like, no, I don't love. What kind of question? It's just so difficult for me. And all my friends, all of them now are developers. They're either running their own businesses as developers or they're working for some serious companies here as developers. And then you have me, the outlier. It's like,
Well,
I just want to
yeah.
make movies or make games.
I get
And
it. I get it. I mean, programming and art are two different mindsets, They're very different. I'm very much the opposite. I'm very much the programmer,
is it
but I know
technical side?
oh yeah, but and I love math. So but I know
All
that
right.
I know there's some folks here in our audience who are the other way around, who are very much like you, artist at heart, and they love that. And the programming is sort of a necessity.
Mm. It is a necessary evil. But I mean, what's nice is I started using Unreal Engine, and they
Hmm.
have this really they've got the blueprint system, so the
Yes,
node-based programming that I could get behind. That was like,
there you go.
okay, cool. I'll,
Yep.
I'll I'll make it happen. I'll make it happen for that. But I know that's programmers kind of look down upon the node-based, stuff. But it saved my life honestly, because
I
now I can concentrate on the fun stuff, right? But nevertheless, it's one of the things about this is the discipline side of it. You're not going to get to do exactly what you want to do continuously. You have to be disciplined about it and kind of bite the bullet. And also it's as for game design, because game design is a very specific term, but you're going to need to know how to construct experiences out of
yes,
the tools that you're given. And so
yeah.
that's something that I still that I'll practice, even though I'm not a fan of it. I'll practice it still. It's important for the craft, right? So,
Absolutely.
but yeah, that's where we stand now. It's gone through a few iterations, but I keep coming back because it's just never going away in my mind. And yeah, right now I got it to I think a pretty good point with Unreal Engine 5. It's a good
Well,
start.
it looks great from what we've seen so far. It looks solid, very well done. I love the detail of the one of the things as former videographer, and you mentioned that as part of your repertoire as well. So, one of the things that I noticed in there as we were watching was how you zoom up on the characters when they have those interactions and stuff, and that's a nice little detail. I love that. It kind of gives you that moment of, okay, now we're really jumping into the to the conversation or what's happening, and then you're pulling back to the action, and I like that. That's smooth.
Mm. No,
Um,
no, I appreciate it.
should we roll the full demo here that kind of walks through sort of the training and so forth?
Mm.
Let's give that a play. So this has audio, so these guys can all hear it. You might not be able to hear it, Akil, but they can.
Cool. No, no, trust me, I've heard it a million times already, so it's a blessing. Thank you. Keep it that way. uh,
That's
Jeez.
funny.
So this I constructed. So that we have in where I'm based, Joburg in Gauteng. We've got a monthly game dev meetup. We've got the local, the local students as well as some industry vets come through and they give presentations and allow
Great.
us to demo our project for people to play. So demo I specifically constructed for that you know the game dev meetup.
Nice. Very
And
cool.
yeah, yeah. So I had to do a lot of teaching really fast, and I felt the fastest way to do it was just to stick the tutorial in the the biggest letters possible and just kind of float it. Funny enough, people said that it made it really simple for them to learn, and it stuck with it kind of gelled with the art style.
Yeah,
So I was like, that's a
I
win.
like it.
That's a win.
Yeah.
Mm,
I absolutely like
yeah,
that kind of help. Yeah, I need
yeah.
that kind of tutorial when I'm
It's
playing a
big and
game.
bold. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
tell me
We're
what
too
to
old
do.
for nuance
Tell
now.
me, right? Yeah,
Skip the subtlety, please.
right.
Yeah.
Abomination agrees as well. Very cool though. Ludum says, love the art style and really enjoy the use of the smaller amount of frames for the animations.
You know what?
So
That was you're not the first person to say that, Ludum. When I was demoing it as well, a lot of people said they liked that and it adds to the minimalist aspect. But I will say, I'm not an animator, right? And what you see there is the product of the simplest frame by frame, animation I could. I use Affinity Designer as my design tool, and I just literally made it, a massive canvas and separated it up into cells and I sketched out basic skeletons and that's how I did my frame animation. So there's not really a I wasn't using Adobe Animate or anything Ace Sprites, anything funny like that. So but I'm glad you like it nonetheless.
yeah, nicely done, nicely
Yeah,
done. Um,
sure.
Shoot, I know I had another comment on something we saw in there, and I already lost it, so I apologize.
No,
Somebody
that's
else
cool.
will hopefully throw it in there.
Sure.
um, but yeah, let's
Minimalist design.
see.
Yeah.
And then since you're the artist at heart, was there anything more you wanted to kind of dive into when it came into like these cutscene, that you did? I mean, this
Yeah.
is yeah.
Yeah. No, so that I when I was younger, you earlier on you touched on when starting with the game engine, it's so cool that with game design you get to take what's in your mind, your imagination, and put it out in a way that you can't really do with other platforms, right? I felt that way from a really young age, and one of the first things I started doing was uh, basic like comic book art designs, like when I was in high school, and so that was the easiest way for me to tell, the story. And when I started the game, I was like, dude, let me just make the same thing I used to do when I was a kid, make the cutscenes like that, but just to add a spin, I'll break it up, into different layers and animate it that way. And another big thing I wanted to concentrate on, since I was going for this aesthetic, this minimalist aesthetic, the sound design was really important to me. Even when I went to the demos at the Joburg Game Dev meetups, I always brought my headphones. In fact, I bring these ones, the Sony's, because they got really good noise canceling, and it's a big crowd there. So but I want them to hear. I want them to be transported in there. And so with the cutscenes, I had also done like sound design. So I go into my the whatever database I'm using for music, and I curate it and the different sound effects. I'll throw that in there just to create a specific experience, and it applies to like the stuff that you see in the game as well. Like here you're looking at the Unreal Engine 4 version, but nevertheless, I mean, when the main character is picking up those collectible items, the hits, the steps, you see there's a lamp, there's a street lamp there flickering, right? I redid that in Unreal Engine 5 now, but I did it. I spent an entire like session just trying to get the flicker to randomize and line up with the sound as well. That
Ooh,
was like a whole thing. But it made such a big difference because if you just stand still in that level, the ambience, it feels so good and it feels so ominous
nice.
and so like lonely, and the flicker just kind of ties it all together. You see the smile on my face. And I really like those, those parts of it. Not the programming, but like those small, experience points in
Yeah,
there.
no, that's fantastic. I like that.
Mm.
The So two things that I wanted to point out. There was one other detail that I noticed. I'm going to roll this again because I want to point this out for anybody else who might not have caught this. I don't know. Maybe everybody caught it and I'm just slow. But another one of the things that I think a lot of games don't do when they're creating the art style and the look is to pay attention to detail in the background. And I love the fact that you actually have animations going in the background. I think that is so cool that they're not even part of the gameplay, part of but you still got that going on. So it really gives that more complete environment feel. I like that. That's nice.
Yeah, that is something I want to lean into a bit more as well, because some of the feedback that I've gotten is they'd like to see maybe like ships in the background, maybe lights flickering just to give it a bit more life. But I need to really skirt that boundary now because I mean, once again, the idea is it's quiet, it's ominous, it's like
Yeah.
happening. It's like your story is happening in the background. Nobody's even paying attention. Nobody wants to help you. I mean, the original idea was you were someone a bit helpless, and your child was taken away, and it's up to you now to go navigate this really dodgy alien world where crime is the main thing, corruption is the main thing, and nobody's there to help you. It's supposed to feel lonely and stuff, but
Yeah.
still, I also appreciated the small details in the background. Something I definitely should lean into a bit more as well, for sure.
Yeah, very cool. The other thing I was going to comment on earlier, I did remember what I was going to chime in on. You'd mentioned that you shared this project with your game dev group, and I was just going to add that I can relate to that. I literally had to jump in a car and rush from my game dev meeting today. It ended, and I hopped in the car and rushed home in time for this stream. So, yeah,
Oh, right.
I do that as well. I'm
Appreciate it.
so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thanks for making the time then.
Oh no, of course. I
Yeah.
love doing this. Love getting to check out new games, new projects, and support you guys who are working on these, and just get more eyes on them. And
Mm.
so, in that light, let's take a moment to acknowledge, first of all, that anybody here watching, whether you're live or whether you're tuning in after the fact, you can get the link to Akil's Instagram page just by going to our About page. The link is provided there. And then the YouTube side, we will have that we're actually streaming live on YouTube, so you'll be able to see this. If you're watching this on YouTube weeks or months or years after this, then be sure to also follow up by checking out our website, because we keep those links posted there even after they've dropped off of Twitch. And we also have a Discord channel that you can stay in touch with folks. And so I will throw out an invitation to you, Akil, if you would like to join our Discord server. You are welcome to, as a guest here on our program, share progress updates on our Discord server if you would like. And, I don't want
Much
to give you
appreciated.
more work. I know you got plenty of projects, so don't hear it as a project. But yeah, if you want to share, you have that avenue. And that way people can kind of be aware of how it's going and when it's going to release. And so that leads me into the next question. Let's talk about that. What are your goals? Where do you see this? What platform are you searching for, and what timeline are you looking at?
All right. So right now the platform is PC. I It's just the simplest, most beaten path I can do right now. Although I will say, just sort of as a challenge, there was a day when I thought to myself, when I'm navigating life, and if it ever comes up in conversation, I'd like to show someone, firsthand what the game looks like. And so I did get it working on Android, so that's pretty cool. I don't know if I'm going to release it there. Right now, it's just kind of a demo, just so I can show people, here you go, it
Sure,
works.
sure. That makes
So
sense.
yeah, but I mean, I don't want to sit with this thing too long. To tell you the truth, it's been on my mind for a couple of years, and I mean, I kind of there was a point during my degree when I kind of half abandoned it, and I thought to myself, I need to come back. I need to finish it strong, and so I'm looking at somewhere within a year, especially because most of the time when I go to these game dev meetups, I push myself with bigger updates just to keep myself accountable, to make sure that there's consistent progress.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm sort of trying to keep to that deadline there, and I'm actually also, but the viewers will see this on my Instagram, but I also have a YouTube channel where I document in devlogs the progress of the game as well, which is also keeping me
Great.
accountable too. I see
Nice. Right.
Ludum there commented on the parallax effect.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, no, you'll see all of the pain and sweat that went through, all of these effects and stuff on the channel. But yeah, but I'm trying to stick to that 12-month period. So
Very
on
nice. Very
PC,
nice.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Abomination. You can drop a link to our Discord server into the chat for everybody, anybody who would like it. And that way you could post, we can post, you can share it with us, and either of us, we can post a link to your YouTube channel as well on there, so people
Great.
can check that out.
Proximity warning.
All
Humanoid life
right.
form identified and has set a course to match our own.
All right. Thank you for the alert. It looks like we need to be cautious. We're being followed. Welcome in. Welcome in, Joshified. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Yeah, so we are here talking with Akil, indie developer from South Africa, who is sharing his project Syphon. And unfortunately, we're in an ad break, so some people did not catch all of that. But one of the benefits to being a subscriber to the channel, those folks didn't miss a beat. But thank you so much for those of you who have tuned in, and for everybody watching this after the fact on VOD as well. So that I can totally understand, Akil, that whole like on again, off again with your projects. So let me ask you this: are there other projects in the work as well, or is it kind of like, did game dev altogether take a back seat, or is it this project took a back seat because you've got something else that you're working on that's more of a passion project, or what's the scoop?
Yeah, so I've always had side projects going, and most of the time they were client projects. So for my own, extra pocket money, if you want to put it that way. So
Sure, sure.
during university, I didn't really have a university life just because I worked a lot. In fact, I'm sure other students have this opposite story where their parents will tell them that they need to focus and stop partying and actually, concentrate on their studies. I had it the opposite way, where my parents would tell me, "You need to go and be a student. You're not being a student. Go out with friends. Go experience life." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I have to do this project. I have to get this done. I'm wasting time. I'm wasting time." And so this was one of those projects where I was like, "Okay, this is my game design stuff. I've got my graphic design stuff. I've got my videography stuff." I mean, I think at the time in university, I was assisting the university with our TEDx events as well. So I was shooting and editing them as well at the same time, and
Wow.
doing the degree stuff, the final year project, which was a massive system that we had to build. my friends and I, and yeah, it was a lot. In fact, I remember it was must have been like two. I don't know what time it was. It was some early, godforsaken hour, but I had all my friends there,
Like it is
all
now.
my close, like it is now. But I'm a lot more comfortable with it now. It's part of life
Oh,
now.
okay. All
And
right.
we were all pushing on this one deliverable, and I told my friends there, because they're my friends as well. I told them, gents, I need to get this demo done because Comic Con Africa is taking in uh, game uh, indie game submissions, and you can actually win a seat to demo it at Comic Con. And it was, I think, the first Comic Con. I can't recall. Second, I can't recall. But they said it's cool, get it done. So I'm sitting there, I'm trying to push this thing out, and I got it to the point where it actually exports it. After all the errors and everything, and then it must have been like 30 minutes away from submission time. And I realized to myself, I have not tested this on anyone else's laptop. I do not know if it runs. I'm such an
Oh.
idiot. And then my friend next to me, who's my gaming buddy, we game like super often till this day. His name is Brick, and Brick said, put it on a USB, give it a check, give it a check. Let's try it out." And so we're all huddled now around Brick, right, as he sticks this USB in, and it boots up. The game runs, eh? The game runs. He doesn't
Good
know where to
feeling.
go though.
Good feeling.
But he right, good feeling until I realized he didn't know what to do. He didn't know where to go. And then it's like I got punched in the face because I was like, no, tutorials, actual level design, color theory, all that stuff. I didn't know. And so it's actually in
Sure.
this clip of the video that's playing where uh, it's one section where it looks quite busy, and that was the section that Brick played, and you can't really see where to go. There's no
Oops.
clear platforms, there's no clear interactables. It was, I don't know, it was really heartbreaking, I'm not gonna lie. I submitted it anyway, right? I submitted it anyway. Comic Con didn't get back to me. I wonder why they didn't get back to me, unfortunately. But it was a really tough time, and so I left it. I left it. I was so defeated. At
we
that moment, I just left
we
it.
learn from our
And
mistakes, don't we?
we do. And so I started right at the bottom, man. I started watching a crap ton of YouTube tutorials, and started a course and reading the books, and right from basics, getting user feedback, all that stuff. And I think it served me well, but it took a hit. So I mean, yes, it's one of those projects, but I'm trying to be strict here. You have to be strict with the amounts of projects you take on, and make it achievable as well, because you could just keep starting and stopping projects. You see, you're guilty. You're guilty. Control yourself, Will. So
everybody,
yeah,
everybody here who knows me knows how bad it is.
right. And understand. I mean, one of the YouTubers I watched is Lost Relic Games. He says it's not a problem. Just keep a notebook, and you can put your ideas in there. It's just that keep it to the side.
Oh, my problem
Finish
is
what
my
you want.
ideas don't fit in a notebook.
Okay, you have a different problem then. Get a bigger notebook, man.
I-
What's wrong with you? Get a bigger notebook. But yeah, so, so I'm trying to be. You're just trying to be strict on myself there. That's why it's taken so long. Trying to do
no,
one project
that's
at a time.
that's good.
So, yeah,
Discipline is good in
it
focusing
is.
in on what you want to work on, and it's just not something that I have learned or maybe am even willing to learn. I don't know because I'm constantly
I
taking
appreciate your
on.
honesty. I don't want to learn
I
that.
mean, I'd be absolutely lying if I said that I was focused on a singular project. It would be the most ridiculous thing for me to say. I stream 5 days a week, and I literally stream a different project every time I'm on. Like
But it's fun, right? It's fun though.
I
It's
have a
fun. That's,
blast.
I understand. It's fun. So I kind of have I meet myself halfway. So I tell myself, okay, no new projects, but the deal is if I feel like making something that's inconsequential and does not push the project forward in a way that's like massive, allow myself to do it just because it's fun. So something like the main menu, right?
Hmm.
Uh, you'll see it in the reel. The menu was pretty cool. It took me an entire day to do, right? Because it was different layers and I animated it in the game engine and getting the sound effects and everything working. Has nothing to do with the game itself, but it was fun to do. So I
I
allowed myself to do it.
I get it totally,
Yeah.
totally get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, throw this back up on here. I'm just going to turn down the audio a little bit so it doesn't overwhelm you
Sure.
here, so we can keep talking with you. But very cool, very cool. So, have you then everything we're seeing in the game? Has it is it 100% you? Have you reached out to anybody else to help with any of the elements or anything that you've dropped in, or has it been all you to this point?
Nah, everything you see is me. The only thing that I can't take credit for is the sound effects. Those are, those come from a database. And I mix and edit the stuff, right, depending on what I need, but everything else is me.
Yeah, awesome, awesome.
Hmm.
Well, it's looking good. And I hope that if anyone who is watching with us, if you're joining us here, whether on Twitch or on YouTube, if you've got questions for Akil, whether it's about him, his history, his current project, or upcoming projects, we might tap into that one here in a moment. Or if you want to talk about Syphon here, you got a specific question, please drop it in the chat, and we will throw them his way. Yeah. So I guess I sort of already led into that. So let's make that the next question. Do you have, I guess, with a year still on your plate and your hyper focus and discipline, maybe the question's already answered, but do you have your sights on like a future project, something that you'd like to do after this one is said and done? Do you already have something in mind or?
So right after this, yeah, I want to dive into a 3D game. I think
Nice.
I've learned quite a bit about the game engine, to be comfortable enough to go onto 3D after that. But uh, anything after that, dude, I've got an entire list, man. Like game design is my life. This is literally my calling. Like there's something about telling stories through video games that I think it's not the same. It's so different from books. It's so different from movies. It's so
Yeah.
different from series. It just hits you. It hits you different. Like
Yeah.
I brought up Mass Effect before. Mass Effect as a movie would have been cool, but as a series, maybe a bit better. As a game, untouchable, untouchable, because you're there. And I finished that game. It was like in matric, like grade 12, 12th grade, and it was like the day before my maths exam. And we've established I'm not a fan of maths, so it was very irresponsible of me. But it literally changed my life. Like I finished the third game there, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I like this. This is something I want to do. This is something that gives
Yeah.
me purpose. And so yes, I've got plenty of projects. But that's why even more reason to keep myself, on a leash, to say
Sure.
all in good time.
Sure. Very cool.
First,
Very
first
cool.
hone yourself.
Good question from Yoda Guy. Are you going to be doing any game jams in the near future?
Yeah, I kind of have to, like, because it's one of the quickest ways to improve your skill
Mm,
familiarity with the tools as well, and also to make me versatile. Because I mean, you get, depending on your game jam, you get so many randomized topics and subject matters and art style depending on the time that you have and stuff. So definitely,
yeah.
that's definitely
Yeah.
something I want to do. Yeah,
Very cool. Very
definitely.
cool. Nice. All right. Well, one question that we always have to ask every guest, this one's super important and tricky. What's your favorite game to play? And I know you've brought up Mass Effect a couple of times, so we're going to obviously say that's probably it. Are you playing anything now?
Mm. I've got a problem, right? I've got a problem with games. Okay, I start them and then I don't finish them. So what I've been doing over the last, let's just say 2 or 3 years, is I made a giant list of games that I started and I've been finishing them off. And so the latest one that I finished off
Ooh.
was The Outer Worlds. The Outer Worlds, that was a good one. And I'm currently working my way through Starfield, and that's an interesting one. Let's just say there's a lot of what I like about games is you learn what when you play games as a game designer, you learn what to do and what not to do.
Oh
And so
yeah.
I'm learning that, yeah, a lot of the games I'm playing. But yes, Starfield. Let's say Starfield is what I'm currently on,
All
and
right.
it's a big one, so it's still going to take some time. But yeah, that's what we're working on.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, is there anything like about Syphon that we didn't talk about that you want to make sure we give a little bit of time before we, start getting short of time? Like, are there any unique game mechanics or features to the game that would kind of be, those USPs, unique selling points that you wanna go over?
Mm. Yeah, that was one of the things that was racking my mind when I started redesigning this thing in Unreal Engine 5, and I've got some ideas. I don't want to shoot myself in the foot because I am so, let me reiterate, right? I am self-taught. Nobody taught me to do this stuff, and so I'm not
Right.
gonna. I have to like be careful with my skill level and stuff. But there's a lot of game design elements that I wanted to be present based on games that I grew up playing. So I'm a big Ratchet and Clank fan. So your 3D platformers, and so I wanted something that's tight. Something that feels traditional as well, but in a 2D sense. So very much polished as a 2D platformer, and swing mechanics is coming through. I've got the melee system. So right now I've worked my way up to a triple, your triple melee, and then you can go airborne as well. So you jump and then you can sustain your melee attacks and stuff. So it's got some beat 'em up elements in there. I'm going to implement the ranged attack as well. I don't know if the clip that I provided actually showed the ranged attack, the pistol stuff, but that's going to come through as well. So I want something that's fast and fluid, and you can chain, your melee and your ranged attacks as well. Swinging, that's something that I have to get down. That was a monster for me to try and figure out, but I did figure it out when I first started making this game. Back when it was a pixel game, it used to be a pixel game. That was the first iteration, and so I got swinging done, and so I want to bring the swinging back. Other than that, I think there is something I want to play with. There's a big mechanic I want to play with, and I'm not sure if it will work or what, but uh, I don't know if you've seen in for people that have played Starfield. There's a segment where you get sucked into another reality and you're kind of in a mirror, not a mirror dimension, in a parallel dimension, right? And you're playing the game, but then you kind of bounce in between the two. They didn't elaborate it as much in the game as much as I wanted them to. So I thought that'd be something cool to experiment with, and it might give me as you said, a USP, because that's like literally one of the hardest things ever to come up with a game. Everyone has ideas, right? Everyone has ideas for a game, but how do you make a good game, right? That's the big one, and your hook is a big one. So that's something I'm still trying to figure out, but I think it's the vision is clearing as time goes on. But
Gotcha.
that's
Gotcha.
what I have so far. Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, based on your earlier conversation about how much you hate coding, I already know what your answer is going to be to this, but it's a good question. So I'm going to throw it out there already. Yoda Guy is asking, in your opinion, what's the best way to learn coding? Because looking forward to like a game jam event and have zero knowledge right now. So,
Zero knowledge. Okay. Yeah, man. So I don't like coding, right? But it's the foundation of my problem solving ability. So it is required. And I think Vel, you can attest to that. Like when you learn programming, you see the world a different way. It's like
oh,
learning
yeah.
maths for the first time. You can see you look behind the problem, right? And so I think one of the things that was a lot of my peers' downfall during the degree was we didn't practice it enough. We just went for the classes, we just listened to the lectures, we did the tests, the tutorials, everything, but we didn't practice it on our own. We didn't take it aside and think, let me mess around with this a little bit, let me play around, let me break my projects a little bit, let me try and figure out a new system here. And so I think the best way is to just to do. But programming is such a big monster. You need to figure out first what language you want to start with. I think probably C sharp would be more forgiving. We started with C++, which was I I don't know who made C++ angry, but it was unnecessarily angry. You miss one semicolon, you're done. You're done. Close the program, go to sleep. You're done. Why are you here? Why are you doing this degree, right? At least C sharp was a bit easier. And so I would say start with it. It's okay to do YouTube. It really is. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I did it more traditionally. I think I don't know if Val you did it more traditionally in university, but that's okay. But do YouTube. That's fine. The problem is discipline. You have to sit through all those courses, listen, take notes, have a notebook, write it down. Because writing down, it changes, it rewires your brain. Really, like
Yeah.
just watching doesn't do the trick. So you write it down. After you write it down, go play around. Open up your IDE, Visual Studio, whatever. Mess around, make something. Hello World, simple, right? And then build on that, make something, right?
Yeah.
And then when you feel like you've got your legs, when I mean you've got your legs, I mean when you can think in terms of coding, when you know what a variable is, when you know what a class is, when you know what abstract classes is, when you know what functions are, calling functions, returning for whatever. When you've got your legs, then you start with your game engine. And then just keep at it, man. It's like maths. You gotta if you don't do it, you lose it. It's a skill, right? It's like a muscle. You just keep at it. Keep at
It
it.
is. It is. All good
Yeah.
advice. I would also throw on there that I think it's good to pick coding language and a game engine simultaneously because they're pretty one on one. Meaning, if you're going to work in Unreal, then you need to learn C++. If you're going to work in Unity, you need to learn C sharp. They're not that different from each other. They're all object oriented programming languages, and you can kind of what you really want to focus on is theory anyway. Learning the concepts, like Akio was talking about, when it comes to variables and classes and functions, and understanding the concepts behind the coding. It's so much more important than just making it do something, because then you're not going to think of ways to use it for other things as easily. I think, you know. But I definitely agree with you. Just diving in and experimenting, and I don't know. I'm pretty exclusive with Unity, but I know you
Mm.
mentioned Visual Studio. I would imagine it's probably similar with Unreal, but I don't know this for a fact. That if you're working in Unity and Visual Studio together, they communicate in the sense that it'll tell you when you're putting something that's invalid. If you're typing something out, you're trying to write a function that it doesn't understand, you'll see it visually right there, and that helps you learn too, because you say, okay, why am I writing? What am I writing wrong here? And then
Yeah. Exactly. They're very integrated. It's super super integrated, especially uh, with the change tracking, the source control and stuff. But I will say the what I find interesting is also maybe keep in mind like your time frame as far as do you want to work or do you just want to do this yourself? Because I find that when I go to my game dev meetups, a lot of the studios and what the students are learning, and by studios I mean the big boys from us, which is 24-bit games, uh, they use Unity. And so I mean, maybe you want to kill two birds with one stone and do your own project, but also queue yourself up for a job in industry. It'd be good to aim for something that industry is using wherever you are. So I don't know what region you guys are at and what as far as Yoda guys is communicating, but for us, I know Unity is a big one, and so uh, just maybe do research, figure out introspection, what you want to do. Maybe that'll inform you as to what language, to start using, what game engine to dive into
Yep.
as well.
Yeah. Yep. Good. 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 If you, couple more things on that, and for anybody else who might be following along, if you go with Unreal, Ludum brought up an excellent point, which Akil also alluded to earlier, and that is blueprints, where you can do your node-based coding. It's not exactly the same thing, and I think it is good and important if you're going to work on developing skills as a programmer. You're going to want to learn to code, but to be able to use that node-based system, I think is super helpful as a transition to be able to go from knowing nothing, especially if you're already familiar with the engine for anything, if you've worked in it at all for dropping in assets or whatever, then that's a good way to go. If you do go the Unity route, and you want to learn C sharp, I highly recommend. Code Monkey has a 13-hour video on his YouTube channel that is Learn C sharp, absolutely free, 13 hours where he goes over, don't try to watch it in one sitting. Do about 20 minutes a day or something.
Mm,
Yeah,
and also make it,
but
perhaps make it an active learning process, right?
yes,
Because 13
yes.
hours doesn't mean you're gonna sit. Doesn't mean you can, say, okay, I'm gonna plan my next 2 weeks and just do an hour a day. No, it's not
Right.
like that. You gotta, after, like you said, after every 20 minutes, right? Pull out your notebook, start writing.
Yeah,
Start trying
yeah,
to put it
yeah,
together in your mind. I've been busy with
exactly.
this game design course, right,
Hmm.
since last year. But if you look at it, it's 4 hours, right? The problem is those 4 hours, the guys put their like 10 books, they put their like links to journal articles. And so if
Right.
you look at my notebook, it's thick because I go in there and I actually, research, but it's so much richer. You walk away with so much more knowledge and discipline as well.
Yeah.
So
Knowledge
mm,
is power.
mm,
All right.
that's it.
Awesome. Well, cool. Appreciate the questions. Appreciate you guys participating in the conversation. And Akil, really appreciate you joining us. For anybody who wants to check out and stay connected with Akil and his work, please check out the link to his Instagram located on our About page here on the Twitch side. You can also find that link now and or not now in the future after it's off of Twitch on our website on our guests lists. There we keep all the past guests links. And hopefully, we can get everybody to connect on Discord as well so we can stay in touch. Because it's been an absolute pleasure talking with you. I really have enjoyed getting to know you and getting to know your project. And really hope to, keep things going and keep contact. It's exciting to be able to connect with people from all over who have the same kind of passion for game development. You know?
For sure. Thanks so much for extending the invite to me. I always love speaking to people that are in the same, in the same field, excited about the same things. Because, I mean, when I was doing my degree, they were computer scientists, and so I couldn't exactly jive with them on that creative level. And so it's nice to have that sort of outlet. Even now, when I went to the game jam for the first time earlier this year, I was in absolute shock because I didn't know there were so many other people that were doing this as well. So I kind of just relegated myself to the corner and let everyone do their own thing because I was like, damn, should I say hi? Should I do they can I say hello? Will they understand me if I say hello? Is there a way that I wasn't used to it. So, but this is nice. Thanks. So thanks again. Thanks
Oh,
again.
absolutely, absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you here. So, is there anything else that you would like to kind of touch on or talk about? We focused on this project, this game, but I know there's a lot of other talents in your under your umbrella. You've mentioned your video work, your graphic design. It sounds like a big part of what you do. Is there any part of that that you wanted to expand on or anything in the few minutes that we have left? Or
Well, I guess I'll approach it like this. The reason why I'm versed in some or other degree in those topics is because there was from an early stage this pursuit of try and get what's in my head out in front of other people, make other people see what I see. And so I started by sketching, and I realized my skill wasn't good enough, so I tried to get better at sketching. It wasn't landing, so I thought, let me get something more interactive. Let me try 3D animation. So I tried that, but it still wasn't landing. So I was like, let me try, something else, maybe photo, video, movies. And that's how each thing developed. And so the core message is like, why are you doing what you're doing? That's going to drive you. It's going to drive your development in that thing that you're doing. And so I'm here because I want to tell stories. That's why I'm here. But the hardest thing is to stay disciplined, man. Because especially with indie games, I feel like ever since, well, this is my perspective. I feel like ever since Unreal Engine got released to the public for free, and maybe Unity was suffering from this before, but we just got such a flood of indie games that, I mean, I don't want to seem bad, right, to put people down and stuff, but there was a lot of it that just wasn't good, and it flooded the market, and it hid really good games that some people were
Hmm.
making,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it gave people this perception that making indie games was easy, making games was easy. You know what? You're right. It is easy to make a game. You could just watch a tutorial. Making a good game, that's the hard stuff, right?
Yeah. Well said.
And so just remember that I went through this. So, I'm not talking nonsense. The honeymoon phase, it wears off very quickly. When you get presented with people like criticizing your work and saying, yeah, but why didn't you do it this way? Why is it glitching out like this? Why is it doing this? They don't see the hard work that went behind it. And so you really have to question that reason as to why you're doing what you're doing right now. And so I would say, yes, dive in. If you want to do game development, please. The doors are always open. We welcome anyone and everyone. But just remember, stick with it through tough, through all the good times, the bad times. It's like a relationship, you know? She'll be there. She'll be there. But the mood between you two will be different, but show up. That's all I'm saying. Just show up and say, I love you when you go to sleep, okay? Because that's what's going to hold you together, you know? So yeah, that's
Uh,
the thing. Just stick with it. Stay disciplined. Just keep your eye on the light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah.
Great. Oh, that's awesome. I love it. When you said that the relationship changes, all I could picture was one of those nights where I've been trying to find a bug all day and I still haven't solved it, and now I got to go to bed
Mhm.
not having accomplished anything.
Right. Yeah. 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 And you still gotta say I love you. It's fine. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Awesome. All right. Well, final reminder to everybody who has joined us here tonight. Please check out the link for Akil's Instagram page there if you have not done so already. There's also a link in the chat to our Discord channel. Please join us there and get follow up information, not only for Akil, but for previous guests as well, and who we are and what we do. For those of you who might be here and not have those answers, you can find information there. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us. And I want to echo Ludum's comment. Great job so far. Keep up the great work, and thank you for what you do, Akil. Thank you so much for
Thank you,
your
Lulu.
commitment to the project and your dedication. I admire your ability, your discipline to stay focused on a single project. I do not have that, so I will have to take some lessons from you.
Sure. I still falter. I'm still human. But we get back on the horse, right?
Yeah, I literally just no, I don't know. I struggle while I'm
Yeah.
working on a project. I'm thinking about another one. It's
I
awful.
know what you mean.
It's
I know, but it's so much fun though. It's like drug. It's like a drug. It really is. It's like ideas are like a drug. You get so caught up on it, and you like have to pull yourself back. It's like, I
right.
get you. I'm there. I get you.
Oh man. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us. Much appreciated, and I certainly hope that we'll be able to do this again as you get further down the line. Maybe as you get towards, that point where you have a release date in mind or whatever. If you want to come on again, show your progress, we'd love to have you. So keep that in mind.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, since we are all about supporting other devs instead of just turning off the stream and dropping into the void, I prefer to raid another indie developer so that they at least get credit for some views. So I will say thank you to all. Appreciate your time and support of what we're doing here. And we will throw everybody over to another channel for the moment. But for as far as we're concerned, that's all she wrote. Thank you all.
Yeah. Thanks so much. The viewers have been amazing. I really appreciate that. Thanks so much, guys. Thank you.
Awesome.
Cool.
Did I? Uh-oh. Did I hit the wrong button? I don't think we raided. Start raid. We're already raiding. That's very awkward. I don't know what happened. It says we've already raided, and yet I see us still sitting in our own channel. All right. Well, I'm just gonna have to turn it off and hope. I don't know that they got the folks.